as outside tends to be a scary place. Let's instead talk about the last month in the world of video games. Starting us off on perhaps the most feel-good story of the month, EVE Online has partnered with Microsoft Excel in what might be the most appropriate collaboration in gaming history. The nearly 20-year-old space-based MMO has been known for both its extremely dedicated player base and the endless journey to perfect optimization, with the game gaining a reputation of being the world's most beloved spreadsheet simulator. In fact, this collaboration was so adored by its player base that during the game's FanFest announcement, the crowd literally cheered with excitement.
With Microsoft, we're building an extension that will allow players to log in and pull data directly into Excel.
The developers say that the use of spreadsheets has become vital for some of the more advanced playstyles within EVE Online, and giving all players the ability to immediately export in-game data will level the playing field for smaller groups and be a huge quality of life improvement for corporations of all sizes. Another feel-good development, in case you haven't heard, is that the Swag News team have planned a special trip later in the year, meaning to fund our very first IRL videos. We went straight to Old Reliable. It's Raid Shadow Legends, motherfucker, and if you've been on this site for more than 10 minutes, this game needs no introduction. Far from the same game released in 2018, Raid has grown to a staggering 600 playable champions who you'll use to take on dungeon runs, raid bosses, and if you're feeling too satisfied with your level of self-worth, arena PvP matches. My favorite is Blue Mummy, who's all about freezing and debuffing her enemies. Think Mei from Overwatch, but you want her to step on you while she makes you sing Frozen songs. My next favorite is Goth Mummy, an offensive support who can mass burn her enemies and literally give herself an extra turn. She can be compared to my ex-wife, except I'll definitely be able to fix her this time. Number 3 would have to be Desert Mummy, who's equipped with a wave stun and the all-important ability to revive. Players actually get this legendary champion for free, which quite coincidentally also mirrors my ex-wife. Raid is currently running a special Deliana Chase event, which will give you the legendary champion for free, just for logging in and playing Raid for 7 days before the 20th of July. Deliana is currently one of the strongest supports in the game, so if you want to shore up your roster, now's the time. It's never been a better time to start raiding, as by clicking the link in the description, you'll get yourself a starter pack worth nearly 40 freedom bucks, which includes 3 free champions and 30 brews to give you a head start. Simply log into the game and find your treasure waiting here. If this wasn't tempting enough, by using the promo code on screen, new players can also get themselves a ton of silver and enough experience brews to get Deliana to max level immediately. Raid Shadow Legends, it's raid-in time. Meanwhile, Gotham Knights will not be available on last-gen consoles. Summer Games Fest will be airing on the 9th of June, and Battlefield 2042's 128-player breakthrough mode has been taken down, presumably due to a dwindling player count. In what might be one of the most unsurprising revelations all year, this month revealed that video game publisher Electronic Arts had been doing its best to be bought out by anyone who could afford them. The most invested buyer so far has been NBC Universal, a company owned by Comcast, which much like Electronic Arts, has vigorously competed for the title of the most hated company in America. This deal, however, was not meant to be, as quite appropriately, it would end up falling through due to disagreements between the cost and structure of the acquisition. NBC wasn't the only company that EA had approached to buy them out, with Disney, Apple, and Amazon also being courted. After the sale of Activision Blizzard, it seems as if gaming CEOs the world over are now all searching for that sweet buyout money, which has proved to be in the hundreds of millions, for those who are willing to steer the ship toward acquisition. It doesn't seem as if EA will be finding a new home this month, but with CEO Andrew Wilson's determination to get those fat acquisition bonuses, I wouldn't be surprised if we see an announcement before the end of the year. Here's hoping the next owners have a Titanfall-centric growth strategy ready in their back pocket. EA then made headlines later in the month when it was confirmed that their partnership with FIFA had now been officially dissolved. Reported as speculation a few months ago, Electronic Arts decided to not re-sign their contract with the International Football Association, as they were essentially asking a whole $1 billion for the right to use their name in the title of their long-running game series. Viewers might think that such a huge royalty fee might also include the right to use the more than 19,000 players, over 700 teams, 100 stadiums, and 30 leagues, but those are all negotiated separately from the deal. FIFA literally wanted Electronic Arts to pay $250 million for every letter of its name. Following the official announcement, some of the largest football clubs in the world, including Liverpool, Manchester City, and Real Madrid, all took to social media, expressing their support for the name change, which is set to be called EA Sports FC. The FC of course standing for "fuck our customers." Speaking of the announcement, CEO Andrew Wilson would throw a thinly veiled jab at their former partner, stating quote, "I would argue, and this may be a little biased, that the FIFA brand has more meaning as a video game than it does a governing body of soccer."
Holy shit, you fucking killed her, dude!
However, it seems as if FIFA have already found a rebound after the breakup, as they are reportedly working with third-party developers to launch their new line of football titles going forward. FIFA President Gianni Infantino will comment on this new partnership, stating quote, "I can assure you that the only authentic, real game that has the FIFA name will be the best one available for gamers and football fans. The FIFA name is the only global, original title. We at the Swag News team are still torn on which part of this story is more unbelievable, that Electronic Arts came out as the more reasonable party in a dispute about money, or that anyone would describe the FIFA series as original in any capacity." Rogue Jam, a game development competition in partnership with IGN and Rogue Games, took place this month, offering both publishing deals and $800,000 in prize money to support the winning game's development. The competition was in episodic format, however to live up to the name of the series, we'll only be going over the 5 winners. Just pretend we didn't place a sponsored segment 90 seconds into this video. The huge potential award went to a game called Enter the Chronosphere, a turn-based bullet hell roguelike, where much like Superhot, action only occurs during movement. The winner took home $50,000 and Rogue Games getting right of first refusal. The eye-poppingly gorgeous award went to Icy Red, a fast-paced roguelike shooter in a space pirate setting, and took home both $100,000 and a Rogue Games publishing deal. The What the Fuck award went to Zapping Bygone, an open-world roguelike Metroidvania-style game where you control a hive mind that absorbs your enemy's consciousness by wearing their skulls. Zapping Bygone took home $100,000 and a Rogue Games publishing deal. Next on the list was the Audience Choice Award, which went to Misplaced, a Zelda-influenced top-down game that left the IGN team feeling nostalgic. Misplaced earned itself $50,000 and Rogue Games right of first refusal. Finally, the overall winner award went to Sea Dog, a fast-paced platformer where you traverse through the world as a skateboarding sailor frog with an AI companion. Sea Dog took home $500,000 and a Rogue Games publishing deal. With the AAA release calendar looking mostly bare until the tail end of this year, indie titles which start out in competitions just like this can often be a great way to experience some more creative and unique game offerings. Meanwhile, Babylon's Fall becomes a single-player game on PC after its player count dropped to just 1 person. Bethesda's Starfield and Redfall have been delayed until 2023, and Halo fans are no longer able to relate to Master Chief after he touches a woman. The Ubisoft Plus subscription service, historically exclusive to PC, has now made its way to PlayStation. The announcement means that PlayStation owners with higher tier PS Plus subscriptions will gain access to 27 Ubisoft titles for no extra cost, a list that the publisher aims to nearly double by the end of this year. The news follows previous confirmation that Ubisoft Plus would be coming to Xbox. However, it wouldn't be bundled with the already impressive Game Pass subscription. However, according to leaks, Ubisoft Plus could be bundled with Game Pass after all, with Ubisoft Netherlands seemingly confirming its inclusion sometime in the future. When we had Jake the analyst undertake a ridiculously comprehensive breakdown of all game subscription services, we found that Ubisoft Plus turned out to be surprisingly strong in a lot of the metrics we measured. After all, for $15 a month, subscribers get access to every single Ubisoft game on offer, including day one releases and all DLC, which in itself is a fucking steal. We actually calculated that if Ubisoft simply reduced the price, its subscription service would be more valuable than even the Xbox Game Pass, which was the overall winner of the analysis. With this in mind, if Xbox did in fact manage to include Ubisoft Plus in their own subscription lineup, they would essentially remain unbeaten until Sony could retaliate. Viewers who might want to look at our full analysis can find a link in the description. Lord of the Rings fans received new information on the mysterious upcoming Gollum game this month, which up until now has only been shown off with a very brief trailer. In a Steam post of all places, the developers detailed that they chose Gollum specifically because they personally found him to be one of the most interesting in the series, and from a gameplay perspective, gives them the freedom to let the player climb, leap, and grapple around the world. The team at Daedalic Entertainment also described the title as quote, an epic action-adventure game with stealth and platform elements, and with everything known about Gollum as a character. This was news to absolutely no one. Not much other detail was given, aside from the game being set before the events of the Peter Jackson trilogy, but the team still believe they'll be on track for its release later this year. The small information dump coincides with the announcement of an EA-published mobile game called Heroes of Middle-earth, described as a collectible role-playing game. There seems to be a recent lack of Lord of the Rings titles, with Shadow of War coming out 5 years ago, Lord of the Rings Conquest dropping in 2009, and the Last Battle for Middle-earth title now being old enough to vote. We can only hope that this new Gollum game can fill this void ahead of the upcoming Lord of the Rings TV show, which is planned to launch in September this year. The Saints Row reboot is only 3 months from release, and although we've only been exposed to highly curated footage, a select handful of news publications were shown 40 minutes of behind closed doors gameplay. The feedback from most outlets in attendance seemed mostly positive, with many praising the game's overwhelming commitment to player customization, its charming visual style, and the freedom of player expression. The Saints Row series has long been compared to the likes of Grand Theft Auto, but in this case, it seems as if the developers have taken the best features of the GTA Online mode and made a commitment to not take themselves too seriously. One aspect that many outlets mentioned to be concerning, however, was the overall tone of the game, as the reboot shifts away from the series' mid-2000s roots and into the modern day. One reviewer described the tone to be similar to that of Watch Dogs 2, and depending on the person, this could be understood as either a more playful and self-aware direction for the characters, or a cringe-inducing interpretation of millennial/Gen Z culture. Watch Dogs 2 was often criticized for having an upbeat and zany cast of characters who would reference internet memes only moments after gunning down a dozen innocent security guards, and with Saints Row being all about building up a criminal organization, it's likely the reboot could be victim of the same tonal whiplash. In any case, it's far too early to judge the title. From only a handful of video game journalists, and players can make up their own mind when the game releases on the 23rd of August. In terms of new releases, May saw the release of V Rising, Apex Legends Mobile, Eiyuden Chronicle Rising, Evil Dead the Game, 2 Point Campus, Sniper Elite 5, and Trek to Yomi. June is set for another slow month of game releases, including Diablo Immortal, The Quarry, and Sonic Origins. Viewers who might wish to keep up with news outside of the world of gaming can stay tuned for our more extensive coverage at the end of the month.